So that I can slow down. Okay, so now as we have started this meeting, I really want to greet you once again. And our topic today is about mindfulness practice in a distracted world. As you all know, we really do care this month of October about the mental health. And thankfully, Akufi hosted a celebration on the World Mental Health Day. It was such a beautiful meeting, and because emotions are contagious, and the greater amount of positivity surrounding you, the greater positive vibes shared. So, as I have already shared in the celebration of the Mental Health Day, I am planning to give this positive vibe and continue the conversation on mental health, and this time on mindfulness practice. So thank you all for giving me that space to elaborate more on this very important topic. The aim of this talk is to confront the causes of chronic stressors, and then to understand the foundational neurological, metabolic, and immune aspects of meditation and mindfulness practice, and to discover how to create more positivity and happiness in your life beyond just your positive mindset that we already adopt, and to tap into your renewable energy resources. Speaking of the sustainable development goals and the inner development goals, we also need to have our own renewable energy resources that keeps our mental battery tapped up and fully optimized, even in our hectic transit like what we are experiencing, especially in this month, and to explore what makes you stay at the top of your game. Each and every one of us is very, very, very ambitious, and we need to keep that balance between uh, 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 our personal needs, our family obligations, and at the same time being happy, healthy, thriving, and also performing in this scientific community. So in this age, in this modern world, why feeling overwhelmed and out of sync is an increasingly common experience. For me, for example, I always look for the sky and even wish that I can travel and sit by the sea. So that's like an escape gate for me. But then maybe most of us experience this out of sync experience. So we need to confront that, and we need also to confront our chronic stressors in our lives. These are, of course, personalized, but speaking of time in detail, we will have a section on that. But I also want to project on the idea of personality types, because sometimes we suffer from our own way of thinking, and we don't discover that except when someone confronts us with this reality. So some personality types, they are desperately holding on to their plans, although they are unworkable plans, still holding on to the past, although it is already a past and we need to achieve in the future, or having such a fear of uncertainty, or the need to constantly validate everything, or simply having self-limited beliefs. And as you can see here, the arrows are all projecting to the inside, and these self-limiting beliefs, they are not really helping that person, or projecting his or her own insecurities onto others, and this is like blaming others for something that is really from the intrinsic part of this person. And so there are so many chronic stressors. Either they are like from the person itself, or from maybe toxic environment, toxic community, or something that's keeping our minds really busy, trying to figure out is the problem that my self-esteem is not enough, or something that's really irritating me from the outside environment. And so confronting all the causes is the first step. And then we need to know that all those chronic stressors, they are simply hijacking your amygdala. What is this part of the brain? This part is responsible for the emotions, and since it has a lot of neuronal connections with other parts, like the prefrontal cortex, which is the part responsible for logic and reason. We need to understand how chronic stress can affect our brain on a deeper level. So let's read this interpretation that if chronic stress results in stronger connectivity between the hippocampus and the amygdala through increased myelination, our fear responses will be much quicker and stronger. And so this is the tipping point that sometimes when the stress is truly offending, our stress response is so much stronger than expected. Conversely, if the level of connectivity between the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain responsible for higher order thinking and moderation of our responses, is reduced, it means we have less ability to shut down that heightened response. And so if you can imagine that like an alarm system, every time releasing more stress hormones through the influence of the amygdala, which release the cortisol level and puts you in the fight or flight or freeze mood. This means that you are going into a vicious circle, and this vicious circle is actually getting stronger day after day. And so working on our prefrontal cortex, our logic and reason, comes in the first place. And this is what the mindfulness practice is trying to achieve by focusing on our present moment without judgment and with continuous patterns, so that it can be on a habitual level. And then the amygdala can respond that this is a comfort moment, and so the stress response will be less day by day. So if you remember this email that I posted in September, I shed light on this myelination, which is the covering of this neuronal cells. This is a very delicate cheese, but it's very important, because when you start to get along with something like a training, a continuous training, have particular cells which are really myelinated or having this thick sheaths around them, and so your performance will be faster and at the same time will be more skillful. And so eliminating stressors and at the same time working continuously on a subject that you need to improve or to upskill, for example, this will improve your performance. But also you need to have in mind that positive emotions is needed. And so let's know more about the how we can plan for all this in the landscape of our limited time, and at the same time to know how modern life stressors can really impact our emotions. So with no doubt that the modern way of tackling time, which is the clock, the tick-tock, is really putting us under stress, and this is not helping us dealing with our performance. So what if we shifted back in his geography and we imagined that our relationship with time is healed at the first place? What if we began to view time as a source of inspiration instead of dread? What if each glance at the watch put us more in the moment and made us more focused, centered, and alive? So because we are really chasing deadlines these days and we feel like we don't have enough time for everything, I found that this kind of question is really asking us to explore the moment itself, the productive moment, and not the quality of the and not the quantity of time. And so is the Einstein relativity theory is neglected. So I wonder if you really remember what's this relativity theory, and allow me to close my video because I think that my streaming is not strong enough. So any idea about the relativity theory and how it relates to our perception of time?
Depends on the perspective.
Maybe. Yeah, okay. So let me approximate this by telling you that we first need to identify what is chronos and what is kairos in Greek. Because for the Greek people, it is like the eternal moment that really counts for them, and not the chronological time or the sequential time that is counted in minutes, seconds, and hours, as we usually do by using our clock system. And so, ironically, they are writing here that those who change the world sees the kairos, while those whom the word change sees chronos. And so when you shift back in history, you will find that the clock system, it was invented in the 80th centuries, right, Vanessa? Because this part on circadian pattern and how we are living now out of sync from the natural world is really causing us this feeling that we don't have enough time. But when we focus just on the moment and how we are productive in this moment and how each moment can be lived as something that is really nourishing our souls and making our minds really more focused, then timing becomes something that is truly different in its definition. Something else that is really bothering for many of us, the future. When you don't have clarity about the future, this is really making a lot of clouds and making you out of focus and out of sync. So staying mentally fit can simply be done by putting in micro practice strategies. And that's what we are going to focus on, that keep us emotionally stable, cognitively flexible, and readily adaptive to all the disruption brought about by the change and those curveballs we experience in our daily life. And so by focusing, all of a sudden we will find that everything became gold instead of chaos. So now I would ask all of you to reflect on this photo. You have like a man walking with his dog, and there is a projection from the dog and projection from the man. So what is the difference between mindful and mindful? So let me hear from you. You can raise your virtual hands, or simply you can just share your ideas now.
Well, mindful with one L, which would be the left image of the cloud. It means that maybe you were full in all your perceptive senses, connected with your moment, and not focus only in your unique logical or, you know, front head content. It's the difference between the other one, maybe.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vanessa. That's really inspiring. And I can see Percival's hand raised, so please come in, Percival.
Yes, my network. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you well.
I am thinking that the man has his mind full. I mean, the first with a double L, full with other concerns and other issues, even though he's working in the beauty of nature. And the dog is mindful of the environment. It's keeping the mind on the environment and enjoying the present. So I think that the character of the man is has a lot of things going on and probably is missing the present and losing out on what is available that can keep the mind refreshed. Thank you. Over.
Thank you very much, Percival. That's really a nice interpretation. And Johannes?
Okay, thank you. To put just simply, the first one describe about the future, and the latter describe about the present situation or the present one. That's the simple difference.
Okay, thank you very much. And who else would like to share in this conversation?
Yes, thank you, Dada Muna, for this presentation. The first one, mindful is just telling you what to observe and looking at those two pictures. For me, the one on your right, the one on your left is the mindful of those things that that are happening, and the mindful, the one with the one L, is the picture on the right, looking at things that will cause harm to our environment, things that will cause harm to you, and things that will bring destruction. So we have to be careful and observant. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Joe. Okay, any more reflections?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
For me, I will go with the fact that first, the one with double L, that is, it has to do with mind and full. It means that the mind is fully concentrated, and the other one with a single L means mindful, which literally means maybe probably you are aware, you are being aware about your environment. So I will go with the image on the right, which is highly concentrated, might be talking about mindful, a mind that has a lot of things going on. And the other one, which is less concentrated, I will take it as that one as mindful, because you are being aware about the happenings in the environment. So you tend to see each happenings in order to have full concentration on each one that you tend to give proper attention to. So the mindful indicates, probably literally means that the mind is full of different thoughts. Then the other one with a single L, which is mindful, has to do with the fact that you have been aware of the happenings in the environment. Thank you.
That's very interesting. Thank you so much, Habiballah. Okay, so any more reflections? If you are unable to speak, then you can write on the chat. And let me, okay, and yeah, Samuel, you're here.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, Dr. Mona. I've been loving the conversation going on, and it's quite an interesting one. Good evening to everyone also. From my point of view, I think everyone is right with their different perspectives. But what I see here are two different organisms in the same space. You know, you have a dog and a man, and you can take a look into the concepts, the heart of that animal with respect to the environment in which it stays. It's so free and clear with a conscious respect for the environment it inhabits. And so you have this clear open-mindedness of the animal. You see just a few trees and the sun. It's at peace. It feels at home in its own skin. But on the other hand, you have this man who has so many things on his mind, so much that the environment itself is clouded out with his thoughts. He's thinking of the cars, thinking of house, thinking of music, and all the different symbols you can see there with little regard for the environment. And so in his own mind as a human, the environment is not one of the things he's really thinking about. There are several other things that have filled up that mind. And so the question now is, which of these minds is mindful and which of the other is filled up? And so the animal's mind is not full, but it is mindful of the environment, while the human mind is full, but unmindful of his environment. And if planetary health is an understanding of man with respect to his environment and the other organisms that cohabit that environment with him, you want to begin to conclude that even the animals that cohabit this planet with us have a better mindset towards planetary health than the human mindset. And until we begin to embrace this kind of animalistic understanding of the importance of a clear and free mind in order to enjoy the benefits of our natural environments, we would never embody the concept of planetary health. Sorry, I cannot talk for too long because I had to take a quick break to just make that contribution and then I'm running off again. But I'm with you all through. I'm listening. I might not be able to talk. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samuel. Thank you for your participation and for your insights on this picture, which for sure illustrates that the animal or the dog, which is going out for a walk and enjoying nature, is truly in alignment with the environment and seeing the picture as a true reflection. The sun as it is and the trees, they are all existing in the consciousness of that little dog. But in fact, the man is kind of engaged, even if he is going out for a walk and in nature, his mind is continuously engaged in those materialistic obligations, maybe, and as you can see here, emails also. And so it is hard to become really in a state of absolute focus on the present moment. And this is the theory of mindfulness practice, that we have to be in the present moment without judgment and to be fully present without really being confused or distracted by anything else. And it's kind of difficult, but when you do it like 5 minutes every day and on habitual base, then you will get used to it and you would enjoy it actually. So I guess we will need to go forward to understand the meaning of and the definition of mindfulness is to pay attention on purpose. And this is really crucial. You have to prime your brain on purpose in the present moment and without judgment. And so this concept of mindfulness will take us to how our brain metabolism is affected during our on purpose focusing for few minutes or even for some hours. This author, he used his meditation practice to scan his brain in the baseline and during meditation. And his results were that the functional brain areas that are in the shadow of red signifies the amount of oxygen entering in these parts and also the metabolic state. And so when you compare the baseline red spots to the meditation red spots, you will find that the mind on meditation will have more red spots, especially in the prefrontal cortex. And if you really correlate this neurological link between the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala, you will really appreciate meditation, that it can shift the whole body into a state of comfortable and the whole hormonal level become really balanced. And so this metabolic scan that you can see here is very important because the pattern is truly different, and we need actually to understand the mindfulness concept in a deeper perspective, rather than mentioning that yoga practices and walking, exercise, and so on, they are just like subjective or fluffy practices, or doesn't have really scientific base. So now I'm going to take you to the scientific base, the neurological and metabolic and immune aspects underpinning these practices, because we are researchers. So it's ordinary thing we do on a daily basis that have an extraordinary healing effect. And this is the words of Frank Lipman. I don't know if you know him or not, but he is a chief functional medicine researcher. He has a lot of highly cited papers in the field of functional medicine, and how our own body has can go into self-healing, you know. So by mindfulness, we can have an extraordinary healing effect. And so I invite you to pick one of those pictures that your eyes first caught. Maybe you find like a leisure looking at any of these. So Vanessa, which picture can you pick up?
Oh, the wavy earth and tree in the middle.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and Percival?
Yes, I think I'm looking at the story buildings. Is there a city in the bottom left?
Okay, that's interesting. So just jump in quickly, because we don't want to really take a lot of time inviting one another. So whenever you feel like any photo that really relates to your mindset, or give you pleasure looking at it, just tap in and let me know.
Okay, so if it's about something that gives me pleasure, then I'm looking at the bot. I mean, at the the image of the water body and the young man looking into the sea with a canoe.
Okay,
In
this
the far right. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. For me, for example, the first thing that caught my eye is this butterfly. I really like the details here, but at the same time, I like the imagination in this one, and the scope and the height here. That is really that person, as if he's imagining that he's walking in a forest, but in fact he's walking in the skyscrapers in the urban city. And so I found this really interesting. So if there is nothing more to share here, then I will go to another thing. Our mobiles, okay, they are fantastic tools, and those digital devices, they have many applications on mindfulness, but I tried them for a very short while, because I found them really boring. They have something like music, relaxation mood, you know, but at the end they are screen time and blue light. So this is something that's kind of present. I need to just shed a quick light on it. But something really nice here about this study that included 295 participants from an online survey. They have this results that listening to bird songs reduce anxiety and paranoia. So bird song, they are good for your mental health. And so something else, that because we are connected to land, to nature, so having something to grow is really inviting our meditation. And here, this is for you, Vanessa, okay? Because as you can see, There's a lot of pathways and biochemical markers and things going up and down in these immunological effects of the large-scale genomic study, which reveals an activation of the immune system following inner engineering meditation retreat. It is something like simulation that they made on animal study, and they measured all the immunological effects happening. They are so many. They are so many, and so they are comparing the gene expression even and the immune response. And this paper was released last year during the corona pandemic, and they even recommended that meditation is very good for the treatment of coronavirus. And believe me, they are using a very big sample size. So this study, I think it's a valid one. Let me also ask you now, what will you start doing to reduce your stress? For me, for example, I would look up. Maybe I will see the birds. I will enjoy bird watching. And at night, if I looked up also, I will enjoy watching the star systems and also searching for the Sirius star system. So for me, meditation is something like shifting my whole consciousness to something bigger, something more powerful. And so I really have this gratitude type that I'm so little in a vast universe, and so I always like to have this mindset of an escape, like I'm escaping to the bigger world, to the vast universe, to another population, the birds population, for example. So this is truly is reducing my stress, and I'm trying to have this habit of 5 to 5 or 5 minutes when I wake up to reflect and to have a moment to really focus on my schedule and my priorities, and then 2 minutes after dinner, for example, to also reflect and have this peace of mind, and then 5 minutes before going to sleep. And also, as I said in the a coffee celebration day on mental health, I also said this stop practice about stop, take a breath, observe, and then proceed. So whenever you find yourself stressed or in a situation that you have to deal with, then you can give yourself a moment to stop, take a breath, observe, and breathe, and proceed. But then you have to also remind yourself that breathing should be diaphragmatic, or breathing from the belly, that very deep breathing, not that shallow breathing that's not really making your oxygenation very strong. And so I would like to hear from you. What will you start doing to reduce your stress?
Yeah, so thank you, Dr. Muna. For me, Joe, usually, each time I come from work and stressed up, I have this from the yard that is full of grass with trees. They take 5 minutes, just walk around, look at the grass, um, listen to the birds, look at the green vegetations, and just taking some deep breath. Yeah, so usually that's what I started doing, and I think, and then I go to bed. I feel relaxed.
Yeah, that's very nice. Thank you so much, Joe. Okay, so any other ideas?
I just wrote in the chat just to be fully present in the moment and morning breathing focus.
That's very nice. Thank you so much, Vanessa. Okay, shall I proceed? the idea here that we need to really align with nature. We need to have self-care and caring about our physical, mental, spiritual well-being, and making that in alignment with nature. And this also brings us a lot of comfort. Oh yeah, here something very important about mindful eating, because sometimes the trigger of our stress and of our inflammation is coming from our own choices, our own food choices. And so we will find that there are anti-inflammatory foods and pro-inflammatory foods. And I will focus now on the pro-inflammatory food, which contain whole grain like bread and gluten containing products, because as you can see, this paper is published in 2015. Okay, and so it's very established. I don't know, it's the same word here. Your mic maybe. Okay, so if you read this review article, the title of it, The Opioid Effects of Gluten Exorphins, Asymptomatic Celiac Disease. And so in the abstract itself, you will find that it's not just celiac disease that is, celiac disease is a colonic disease. It is not just this disease. There are actually many others, like diabetes mellitus type 1, depression, and schizophrenia. And since we are focusing on mental health, then we need to know that these inflammatory products, they are really playing a very important role in our gut-brain axis. Furthermore, gluten can be degraded into several morphine-like substances named gluten exorphins, and these compounds have proven opioid effect and could mask the deleterious effects of gluten proteins on the gastrointestinal lining and function. And so explaining how the gluten can mask its own toxicity by the exorphins, this is truly the iceberg, because nowadays you'll find people in the 30s, in the 40s, and they have developed the gluten allergy, and it's very common in people all around me. So I find even my students like gluten allergy. And so we need to understand that the pro-inflammatory foods, they have profound effect, far more than we can ever imagine. And this opioid effect make you really think very deep that why our manufactured food and ultra-processed food are using sugar, and at the same time some wheat or something like this crisp structure that's really selling very good, because it has this what it's called, addiction that's working on our brain through the exorphins that's naturally present in the gluten as a structure. Needless to say that even the wheat germ itself, it's now GMO. So there are a lot of problems coming up from studies examining the effects of grains like wheat grains, and at the same time all the bakery. So I wonder if this kind of information is new to you or you already know it, but it's very important when we are speaking of mindful eating, because we need to make our bodies more on the anti-inflammatory side, because this is helping also our brain function and our whole body to be in the healing process. So let me know your feedback about this, because we are coming to an end of this presentation. Just like I'm really curious to know this piece of information, because I think it's very important and it's published since a very long time, but we are still consuming these kinds of bakeries and maybe junk food and these categories.
So thank you, Dada Muna. If I got it clear, we have two type of food that we are talking about on top of mindful eating. We measure two type of food: the anti-inflammatory foods and the pro-inflammatory food. Can you maybe re-emphasize when you were talking? I did not get it clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, so any more feedback on this, or shall we proceed? Okay, so finally, mindset matters also. We need to see the full part of the cup containing water, not the empty half. And so injecting hope and positivity in this space, since we are all advocates of planetary health and we're speaking a lot about the Anthropocene era, we also need to create this utopic vision in mind and have this imagination of a new era of mutualism and symbiocene. So I would quote that from Dr. Susan Prescott because it's really inspiring and it simply injects hope into the future. So I would like to listen from each and every one of you. What mindful practice can you think of? And this will be like the final activity for today. And I hope to really have more insights from your experience learning about this mindful practice.
Hello, Mona.
Yes, Johannes?
Yeah, thank you. Fortunately, I am mental health professional. I have, and also I'm a student in integrated clinical and community mental health, postgraduate student. After I learned my class, my psychotherapy class, I really start to practice mindfulness because it's very helpful and it can increase experience for even to provide such like therapy for our patient. And it is advantages and it is a good way of solving or coping with the stress. Now I am using deep breathing, especially when I feel I am stressed. I start to deep breathe and to be conscious on what I'm doing. For example, when I eating my food, I'm appreciating my food. Oh, what a delicious food! Using such words that makes us fully conscious to what we are doing is very helpful to practice, and really it is very important thing. And I am happy to be part of this event today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hannes. It's our pleasure, and thank you very much for your feedback on this and sharing your practice in mindfulness. And I really wish you all the best in your career as a mental health practitioner. So thank you very much, and let's hear from most of you. I would like to hear from most of you, if you can.
If I may, Percival here.
Yeah, Percival.
So what I try to do, it's a number of things, particularly when it comes to if I am alone, when you are so stressed with the work, you are looking on the screen. I find myself looking at the screen at least 18 hours a day most of the time. And so what I try to do is to consciously take a meditation walk. walk away from the screen. I mean, do like a 20 to 30 minutes walk around the university or wherever I'm working at. And all I'm doing in that walk is to try and clear the mind of what I'm working on. Or if I'm working on a deadline, I'll probably just focus on the one thing that is getting me stuck and try and think through the options as I walk around. So it's away from the screen. And usually when I come back to the screen, it pays off, because then before I come back, I probably would have figured out, in most cases, at least the fundamentals of what I want to do. And then it makes progress much easier. And other things I try to do now is to just create family time. I mean, close the machine and just create time with the family, time with the kids. They have a way of making you laugh, making you, and be in the moment, try and listen to them. I mean, after a while, you begin to realize that, oh yeah, it's not as complicated as the stressors are making it look. And that refreshes me a lot. And like I said, when I go back to whatever it is I have to do, I mean, it's the brain is calmer, and then the creativity begins to be more easier to do. All right, thank you. Over.
Thank you very much, Percival. This is truly inspiring. Thank you very much. Okay, Vanessa, do you have anything to share with us?
Yeah, I think it's just this, as we are seeing in the literature about physical activity, this instead of being like 1 hour and a half in the gym center, you just try to introduce in your routine like short moments of movement. I think it goes the same way with mindfulness. Try to introduce in our daily routine like 1 minute, 2 minutes, like frequently along the day, of just looking to the sky or relating with nature, or deep breathing, or even stretching, lay down, put your legs up, things like that, to reconnect it and to remind us of this inner peace feeling that is to be connected with nature and the bigger thing. I guess I would say that. And of course, I mean, lifestyle, like habits, right? It's essential, like sleeping, eating good food, and all these things that really makes it a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Vanessa, and especially adjusting our sleeping time and this circadian rhythm. It has a profound effect on our gut, on our whole body, immune system, and so never take things lightly, because we need to really align with our rhythm, with the natural rhythm, because we are born here on Earth, and our catalog, our biology is fitting to that earthly catalog. So thank you very much, Vanessa, and I can see Nathan. Maybe your hands here.
Hi, so Nightingale, and I've been following and enjoying the conversation, but I've also had to attend on a few young ones that had some issues today, so I couldn't unmute much. So just wanting to add to the beautiful comments and suggestions that have been shared, that there is also a lot of, if one can find themselves in a group, there's a motivation sometimes in a group. Like sometimes you might just want to do the stretching, and maybe like for me, I work within the hospital, and I'm thinking I'm so tired, or I'm just feeling worn down. And so being able to bring in a few people who can do that with you, even just for a minute, can be really helpful. And this is what I've seen with a team that I'm working with, that so I'm working night duty, and right after work, the team says, okay, we're going to do some stretches and run around the hospital compound for about, run and jog for about 20 minutes. And then you disperse and you go home. So just wanted to add that the beauty of working it with a community, if that's what you have, or a group of people, whether it's students or workmates.
Oh, you're very lucky, Nightingale. I guess your working environment is really encouraging a healthy lifestyle. So I hope that most of us try to attach to any support group, even, or something that can encourage us to keep our energy flowing in a healthy way. So thank you so much, Nightingale. Okay, any more comments here?
Yes, thank you, Daruna, for this great presentation. It's almost like a training that a trainer, and it almost tells you how to reserve your energy and to not burn out. And one thing I learned from that is the issue of not burning out your energy. And on a daily basis, for me, what I said initially was, each time I come home from work, I take a walk, almost 5-10 minute walk, looking at the green vegetation. Yes, and reflecting on nature, and then clearing out all those stress from work. And then on the weekends, I go play sports where I interact with friends, we laugh, we deep breathe, and we have some fun and make you energized for the next week. So I think from my end, yeah, that's.
Thank you very much, Joe. And it's always like every one of us have a different type of meditation practice. So I hope that we can just inspire one another by speaking out to just propose some ideas. Maybe they can work for some and they cannot work for others. So this is the purpose of such activity. Okay, so something like a final conclusion that how to reduce your stress for clearer thinkers, clearer thinking, because as researchers we are obliged to have those academic writings to really excel at that, and so we need to focus more and to have clearer thinking. So first thing, to control only what's controllable. Sometimes we find bigger problems that's beyond our capacity to solve. So just control what's controllable and maintain your helpful routine. Whichever routine you are practicing, then you have to keep it. Tap into what gives you purpose and meaning, even if it's something like an artwork or something that's really a musical instrument that are playing. Anything that give you purpose or meaning, just tap to it. Take time for mental breathers, and here I would like to say between brackets, mental breathers, you have to really be careful about inflammatory and pro-inflammatory foods, because sometimes the things that make us happy lies in a chocolate bar or something very sweet, and so you have to think deeply about what you eat, and to make even exercise as your mental breather. Find ways to quieten your mind. You have to convince yourself that everything will work out, and tomorrow will be better, and things can only get better. All those things that can really quieten your mind. Get outside into nature. This is very important. Get moving. Our indoor life, our screen time, and our we are now classified as an indoor species. all this is against our biology. So get moving. Hang out with those who lift you up and make you smile. So I would really give an acknowledgement here to the whole Akufi family and the MRN that you are part of my lifting up. So thank you for being there. Schedule in something that is fun, even something which is kind of crazy, something like unusual. It just matters for you. Help someone else. And so this kind of gratitude and giving will give you back satisfaction. Express gratitude for what you have. Maybe even you can make like a journal of gratitude and start writing down 2 or 3 things each and every day. You will have like a full journal full of many things that you'll be really thankful for. Keep an open mind and show some self-compassion and kindness. Take a reframe. Nothing comes from the first moment. We need to try several times and to challenge ourselves to excel in something. So just take reframe and laugh more. This will really inject a lot of happiness hormones. And so I really thank you in being with me in this presentation, and I hope that today we are fulfilling those aims to confront the causes of chronic stressors, to understand the neurological, metabolic, and immune aspects of meditation and mindfulness practices, and to discover how to create more positivity and happiness in your life beyond just your positive mindset, and to tap into renewable energy resources. Always try to have this renewed resources so that you will be fully optimized and you will stay on top of your game, healthy and thriving. Thank you very much. I hope that today you have learned something in your practical life. So just quickly let me know when did you have this aha moment and something that really brightened your mind and made your thinking more broadened on the mindfulness practice. Okay, so any chance here from any of you?
Yeah, I just would like to thank you for this meeting. It's always good to be reminded, right? It moves you forward in putting these things into practice, these things that you know somewhere, but for some reasons you just don't, put in practice. So this kind of meeting, it's good to reassure what you know and to move you forward to practice it. Thank you very much for this meeting, Mona. It was very nice.
Thank you. Thank you, Vanessa, and thank you for sharing your experiences and also your ideas. That's really appreciated. Okay, so any more aha moments? Any of the studies that really...
Okay, so come in.
Yeah, and I think,
just wanting to give credit, since I have children in the house, just giving credit to them, so that sometimes when the parents is kind of distraught or upset, even at them, they'll be like, please take a moment, take a deep breath, and then we can talk. And that really does help. And especially when it's coming from somebody who is enough years younger, it really does help take a step back and you know, in a lot of ways, that has been an aha moment for me.
Thank you very much, Nightingale, and it's truly an aha moment even for me, because while studying and all these dilemma, we have to have tolerance, patience with our kids, and so I truly appreciate your comments, Nightingale. Okay, any more contributions? Okay, so I shall proceed. And the road is long with good company. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you for being here. We have finished this presentation, and until next time, take great care of you, and we'll meet in our next month, our monthly meeting of November, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Mona. Have a nice time.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Mona.
Thank you, much appreciated.
Mona and everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.